YouTube, so this video today, I want to have a chat with you about how this season's going, the season itself, so to speak, and how I'm going on basically. So let's get on with it then, guys. So video, I've got a bit of a journey to make, so I'll just have a chat, like I said, about what's been going on, shall we. So I haven't done too much on YouTube lately. I've just been so busy, and the ironic part is that I have got videos done, like lots of talky videos. I just need to sit down and just get my arse into gear for a couple of hours and just do the thumbnails and schedule them, and I don't have to worry. But I've literally, every time I come to do it, something else comes up. I suppose it's a good thing, because good things have been coming up, not bad things, so I can't really complain. I've got a load of like a day in the life sort of videos. I've done them a little bit different, well, not so much day in the life, so I think I've done a month in the life, and it just chronicles basically, it's either a week, I think I'll do it as a week, but it just shows what happens in a week or what can happen in a month. I do believe sometimes it's so many steps forward and a step back, but as long as you're going forward, that's fine. So it's like, I think the one I did, there's like, so it's this month I did it for, and in this month, you know, I think I've still not had my phone fixed, so that's still very broken. I've cracked my windscreen, that was on a journey back, and it's just got worse now. The roads around here are so bad, but well, it is what it is. So work has been going very well so far. There's been plenty of work on, if I'm being honest with you. It's the weather is the sort of the big one, and it's weird because I've still got properties that haven't dried out yet. So if we have a good rain shower, well, them gardens are floating again. It's crazy. I was talking to the bloke about it actually, and I think this year he's on about having a go at doing something. I think he's on about installing some form of drainage. I don't know whether it's like, I don't know, I think he's on about putting one of those where you put like the boxes in and you wrap it in like the Taram stuff, like a soak away. But the thing is with his garden is like at the end, and it all sort of leans down into it, so we'll have to see. I had another one with a bloke's lawn, and it's just bollocks. It's a new build, and it's just reached the end. Well, to be fair, I think it reached the end of its life a couple, like when I first started taking it on, but I think the stuff that I've been doing is keeping it at bay. So I probably once a season, well, every season so far, I've just topsoiled it. I've just oversoiled, like I've went and bought some like 6 or 7 big bags of compost, or if I've got compost left over, I've just put it on with a Landsy roller and just bulk the lawn up a bit. And he leaves me to it, and he's come back, he's like, oh, lawn's brown again. I'm like, yeah. And it soon grows through it, and I've put a load of feed down, and I think that keeps it at bay, because I do believe that there's only so much sort of nutrients in the soil that they put on new builds. Like he's putting a thing in at the moment, he's put a summer house in, and I've seen like he's dug post holes for it, and it's about 3 inches, I'd say a generous 3 to 4 inches, and that's a bloke measurement, by the way, of inches, and then it's clay. I think there's just not enough soil there to keep the grass going, so I think the chemicals and, you know, I think all that's what I'm dumping on the soil, I think that's keeping it going. And winter time's really hard on that lawn, it doesn't like it. And they've said about, because they've been doing some like research, and they were saying about like verticutting and aeration. In my profession in my professional opinion, I don't think it will help it, because it's, yes, you can cut through or take plugs out, but you're still only going to be, you know, you're not going to get through that clay layer, and that clay layer is like, well, he dug a post hole about 2 foot and it's still clay by that 2 foot, and he's got the end garden as well, and they're all on a bit of a gradient, so whatever he does, it's going to be bollocked up by everybody's houses. I've just said, like, look, if you're happy with what we're doing, I think that's the best we can do without going to some form of extreme length, which is out of my capability anyway. Oh no, they're fine. One thing I've noticed is people are happy to pay. So I'm not saying people are thrifty and tight, but one thing I've noticed this season is people aren't as generous as in tips. Now, I don't rely on tips. I give people the price, and I'm happy with that price, and that's fine with me, if I'm being honest with you. If I say, if it's 95 quid, I'm happy with 95. But in the previous years, you know, you'd put it at that, or you'd even put it at a round number, 100, 20, 30. And, you know, people, if they think you've done a good job, or better than, you know, whatever, or they're just feeling nice, they'll say, oh, here's an extra tenner. And I've not received hardly any of that. And same with, like, the rounded it up, like if it's 95, have you got change? 35, have you got change? You know, years previous it'd be, oh. And you've got to look at, like, the data pool. So where I think money's tight for people, that's what I'm saying, and this is the thing that I've noticed it is like the indication for it. I think there is, you know, people aren't thrifty. I think they're just a bit more careful with money. They're happy to pay, but they're happy to pay what they've said. As I said, I don't rely on it, I don't even expect it. You know, it's just something I've noticed this year. Let me know if you've noticed it. As I said, there'll always be the tight ones, there'll always be people who don't want to pay, or if they can get off from paying or pay less, then they'll be over the moon over that. But I'm on about people here where, you know, in the past they would chuck you an extra £5 or £10. It's just not happened. I did, you know, obviously the variable, it could be me, but it's a big data pool, you know, I'm looking at my whole sort of customer base here. So let me know, as I said, is that a sign of, you know, times are a bit harder for people? I think they are, if I'm being honest with you, I really do. I think sometimes as well, the expectation of some people is that we'll do it for free. You know, or we'll do it as part of the service. So one of my customers, she'd mentioned about a job the previous week, but then, you know, as a separate job, but then whether she'd had a big bill, she asked me about it, you know, previously, like just recently, and said, oh, would you be able to do that? And I used a weed ripper for her. She's just tidying up the edge. So to be fair, it's a 20-minute job with a weed ripper. And she says, well, would you be able to do it? I said, well, when I've got the machine, but I said, I'll just have to price it separate. And this is the thing, it's one of them where, yes, it's a 20-minute job with a weed ripper. So basically, she has been a good customer, and, you know, I do get, I'm tempted to say to people, like, you know, good customers like her, yeah, don't worry, you know, I'll do it as a freebie for you. But then it's a slippery slope, because you've got thousands of pound machinery which you're taking out for nothing. And also, it's one of them where, what happens if it puts the neighbour's car window through? You know, you're not even doing it for paid work at that point, are you? He isn't going to come over and say, oh, I'll let you off because you're doing Mrs. Such and such a favour. And this is the thing, this is where you draw the line, it really is. And I'm sure, you know, plenty of people have, you know, oh, I'll do that as a favour, and it's ended up costing them. It really is. I remember when I first started gardening, I did my customer's garden, and then the next door neighbour, just this little old lady, she says, oh, could you, oh, you're a big strapping young man. So obviously I was like, yes, that is correct. She says, would you be able to, I've got this root ball, I just can't get it out, and it was a fern. I says, okay, yeah. And in the process of doing it, I broke my shovel, and I'll be honest, she was thankful, don't get me wrong, but I says to her, yeah, I'll do that, it'll only take me 2 minutes. It didn't. It took me about half an hour. It was a ball ache, like from start to finish. and I ended up breaking my shovel. And don't get me wrong, I didn't expect payment, but you know, there was nothing. Oh, thank you. She did say thank you, to be fair, but it's a bit of a kick in the balls when you've got to walk away with that and get a new shovel. But I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to equipment now, if it breaks, it breaks. I don't care. I do care, but then I don't care, because, and I think you've got to disconnect from this. It's the your tools and your van is the business's. It's the business's problem to worry about, but then by de facto you are the business owner, and your worry is putting money back into the business to keep everything going. That's how I see it, if you get what I mean. And I'm going to do a video on this at some point about the wear and tear on equipment and vans. It's like my van, Jesus Christ, it's like both mirrors are destroyed. They're like boxers' ears. And to be fair, I've clipped them a couple of times. You're going to go through a hedge and they scratch and stuff, but actually the majority of the damage is what other people have done. But then that's been in the pursuit of doing my gardening job. But then you could always argue, well, it could happen at any time. But then there's other stuff like scratches and dents and dings and marks and loads of like little stuff that's happened in, like I said, in the pursuit of stuff. The big one is like leaning tools up against it. It's like the other day I was at the container and I'd propped my ladders by the container door and the wind had blew them, and I just heard this great big bang, and then it had blew the thing, the ladders had hit that, and then the ladder had fallen on my van. It's left a right dent, and I'm bothered, but I'm not, because what can you do? Same with tools. I was using my little border spade and I love that thing. I'm going to buy another one. Well, I'm actually going to chance their warranty, because I'm sure Bulldog have got a really long warranty, so I'm going to see if I can get a new one under warranty. And it's just cracked. The steel's cracked. It's it's just doing like a little bit of light sort of digging. But then there's other tools. As I said, things break, and I'm going to do a light-hearted view on that in another video. I think all of us have it. You can't keep stuff pristine in this job. You really can't. So, customer-wise as well, it's been going good. It's been showing growth. I've been having inquiries. What I can never understand is people ringing up and it's like, it needs to be done this week. I'm going away at the end of the week. I want it done before then. It's like, well, look, if I can, I can. If I can't, well. And don't get me wrong, I genuinely try, because if someone's offering you work, well, I'm going to try and get that work. But I just think sometimes, do people not think that, people have got other customers and, stuff to do? I can never understand it. I really can't. But, it's part and parcel of running a business. I've had to let go a couple of customers, unfortunately. One of them is, and this is the thing, it's what's the saying, make a fool out of me once, shame on you. Make a fool out of me twice, shame on me. Well, this customer, I used to look after two of her properties, and they aren't, when I say two of her properties, they aren't high paying at all. It's just, in all fairness, if you're left to it, it's nice, easy work, but it's not huge amounts here. So I used to look after her properties, two of them, and then she started grumbling about the bill, saying all this about she's short of money, all that. Bearing in mind she's got two houses, well, three technically, and a business. So I accommodated it. I said, look, we'll do one as a monthly instead. So as I said, fool me once, that's on me, isn't it? And I learned quickly, and then we went back to fortnightly for both of them. And then she just, basically, she gave me enough. She wanted them doing as and when, not on a fortnightly basis. And this was for one of them, and it's a fast growing lawn that's a ball lake. Access is a bit shit as well. There's only one brown bin, so you know, if you're taking shit ton of grass off, where's it going to go? All stuff like that. And I just told her I can't. I says, and she's actually the reason I included business owners in my red flags video, because she was the one where at the very start she said about she knows what it takes to run a business. So I basically tried to appeal to her on that business thing, and what I said to this customer was, I gave you a price for a fortnightly price. It has since changed to 3 weekly. I didn't mention that, but it did put it to a 3 weekly to help her. And at that point, I was keeping on top of it. It wasn't ideal, but I was keeping on top of it. So in a way, she's fooled me twice really, and I just had enough. So I says, look, I kept it as a fortnightly. Then it went to a 3 weekly. So I've absorbed that price. And then I says, if you want it doing, you know, every 6 weeks or as and when, do you agree? That's double. I said, I can't absorb it. And she didn't see it. As I said, when people say don't believe them because they only want to see it their way, and she just says, well, there's plenty of other people who are willing to do it. And I says, is that a gardener or a relative? And she said, a gardener. I says, well, I says, let them. I says, see what they can do for you, because I can't do it. I said, I can't, you know, absorb them costs. And she says, well, and she gave me the ultimatum, if you don't want to do one, you don't do both of them. So that's fine. I says, there's no problem, you know, we'll call it here, whatever. And she did ring me back up about 2 weeks later. This is the thing, she's either not thought about it and thought I was joking, or she thought she's been looking for a gardener and can't get one, or, you know, she's trying to look, you know, she's trying to sort of stretch the visits out, because one of them should have been done 2 weeks ago. And she says, would you come back? I said, would you, well, her question was, do you still want to do them? I says, well, no, I told you I didn't want to do them because of almost what we'd said. And she says, well, let me know now if you want to do them. You know, so I think in her head she's then me's the one who's, you know, turning her away. And so I thought, well, I'm not, you know, buckling down to it like that. I just said to her, I says, after the previous conversation, what's been said, I said, I think, you know, how it'll go, I says, it won't go the way that we want it. It won't go the way that I want it. I says, you won't be happy. I says, I think we're best calling it like that. And she said, okay then. I said, okay, thank you for, you know, your service, all that, custom, and left it at that. It sounds horrible, but it is true. People will walk all over you in this industry. It's hard enough as it is, but people really will walk over you in this job. Next one is, I need to reply back to him actually, that just reminded me. The bloke's a really nice bloke. It's just his mother. She's just pesters. The place itself is actually quite nice and tidy, but the woman who lives there is hyper focused on a minute detail all the time. So it's ignoring the bigger picture, it's the little detail, it's the odd weed here, the little spranglangs on the conifers, stuff like that. And it's got where, so the arrangement was, it's just a mow and go. I look after the grass, and then when me and the customer, when me and the bloke decide it, then we will then do the rest of the, you know, the shrubs and the hedges. Up until then, we don't need to do them until we, you know, it's discussed between us. And this customer never sort of well, I don't know whether I think he told her that well, I know he did tell her that that's what the arrangement was, but it just never synced in. So he's the one paying the bill, so it's a difficult situation for me, because I can see her frustration. She's the one living there, but ultimately there's nothing really wrong with the place. You know, it's not like it's rampantly out of control, but he's the one paying the bill, so he's the one who's, you know, basically dictating and saying what needs doing and what doesn't. And also I'm in agreement with him, because he's saying to me, does it need doing? I says no. So I went, and it just turned into, and this is the thing, it was a lovely, nice, easy job, nice, easy grass cut, straightforward, and it was priced as such, so it was affordable. And I'd go, and, you know, realistically I could be in and out in 20 minutes, but I'd go and it'd be 10 minutes of the shrubs need doing, this needs doing. Well, I haven't got any time today. And then it would be do the grass, and then at the end it'd be all the same. And then I think I only did 4 visits, but one of the visits I did do the shrubs. And next time I went, she says, oh, she says, the shrubs, you've not done the backs, you're growing fruit to the neighbours is going to fall out with me, all this. And the neighbour was having a beer in his garden, and he come up and he says, no, he says, there's no problem. And she says, no, they've all grown out, I can see it from here. And me and the customer are looking at this, sorry, me and the neighbour are looking at it, and we can't see a thing on it. And I'm saying to her, there's nothing on the back. She says there is, and she started getting us. And I don't want to be in the middle of it for the sake of a £25 cut. I don't want to be in the middle of it. I know it sounds bad. So, like I said, and as I said, no ill feeling to the bloke. You know, it's just a shame. And he did message back. Yeah, and that's what he replied to. He did say that, you know, it's a shame things didn't work out. And it is, and I've got no ill feeling towards him, or nothing at all really. It's just, I think, and we both, because we had a chat about it and we both agreed on this, I think what the mother is looking for is she's looking for a gardener who will go, and it will be hours of time. It would be, you know, she'll be paying somebody for 2 hours of their time or an hour of their time. And as I said, it was explained to her. So, and that's another thing, I'm battling hay fever. I've never ever had a problem with hay fever all the whilst I've been in business, but this season has been so hay feverish. It's been crazy. But yeah, I think what she wanted, me and the son talked about this, I think what she wanted, or what she'd need there, honestly, is an old man or a young bloke or a job. And well, she just wants someone who's going to do a good job. But I think she doesn't, I think she wants to pay peanuts, or, you know, and she just wants somebody there who is just going to be there for, like I said, X amount of time, you know, 20 minutes, sorry, a couple of hours. I think that's all she wants really, because as I said, it was every time, and it wasn't so much the shrubs needed doing and they weren't done, it was everything. So weeds coming through the patio, you know, this needed doing, this needed, you know, like little fiddly little bits. And as I said, it wasn't in the job spec. And like I said, you had, you know, almost sort of 2 bosses there. So as I said, but other than that, there's been plenty of work on. There really has. The weather's still, it's behaving, don't get me wrong. It could be worse, it could be better, but the weather's doing okay. It's just, I keep saying this, you've just got to get on as best as you can. If you guys, anybody out there, if you want to chat or email, just drop me an email, whatever. And you know, because I think sometimes, like, I had this conversation, I was telling some people at home about, like, that first woman we were mentioned, where she wanted me to do it as and when instead of 2 weeks. And when you talk to somebody, and this is the thing, you can only keep so much in. But like, I was talking to, you know, about this woman, and you know, parents or like friends, you know, if you're not in the know, I'm lucky. I've got a good friendship base who run businesses, and they're switched on with stuff like that, so they know where, you know, they know what we're on about. But when you speak to people who aren't, they just like, well, have you told her you don't want to do it? Well, of course. Well, just do it and bill her more. Well, she doesn't want to pay more, that's the point. Well, you have to give her that, you know, and it's just such a, same with like, well, why don't you just do the shrubs for the lady? It's little things. It's like, well, she wants it doing, but the bill payer doesn't want to do it. Well, she lives there, so he'll have to pay it. And it's just things like that. And that's what I'm saying. If ever you want to chat, you know, gardener to gardener, me and Reese meet up quite often. I think I've put this in videos. If ever you want to tag along, if you're local to the Stoke-on-Trent area or the Tamworth area, pop along. We don't bite much. Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.